In a world with entirely too many shows about cars, this is another pointless automotive podcast.
And on that note,
So I want to ask you a serious question before we get into this episode, Frank.
uh-oh.
How did we make it this far? Folks, this is episode 100. Welcome back to another pointless automotive podcast. And on a serious note, how the hell did we make it so far?
the century mark.
Cheers, my friend, for making it to the centennial. Gin and tonic, a dirty old drink for a dirty old podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Congrats
Yes,
to
the
you,
dirtiest
sir.
of pods. Although
well
this
earned.
pod could be way dirtier. Like knowing our senses of humor and our predilections, like we could really spice this thing up.
I
if we
mean,
wanted to.
I literally talk about spreading my butt cheeks every other episode. I
It's
don't,
not
I don't know
enough,
what you're
for
looking
one.
for. Not
No,
enough.
but I mean,
There's a lot
it's-
down there.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of
a lot
lot
of
of-
something.
a lot of gape, but like what I'm getting at is somehow we've survived this dog and pony show has made it this far. We have not been received any like ricin in the mail to try and take us out.
Have you not?
No, I've gotten rice in the mail and I still can't figure that out.
Hmm.
But do you remember that song "Got Rice" from like it was like the talk about we're not getting canceled in episode 100, so I'm not going to sing it. But
Yeah, please.
it was a people pleaser. It was about Hondas
Oh,
and
makes
stuff.
sense.
Yeah,
I
got
believe
rice,
that.
bitch. Got rice. Yeah, I
So-
will not do the accompanying accent, but carry on.
So 100 episodes, almost 2 years. We'll save that celebration for shortly down the road. But I kind of just came up with some ideas, Frank, that I think we should just talk about the podcast
no.
in general. Apologies, listeners, but if you haven't been here since the beginning and you might have jumped on like a few episodes ago and seen this really polished product that you're
So
now enjoying, you go back to the archaic times, the early episodes. We were very rudimentary. No, I'm just kidding. We still are. Who am I?
Hey, I have a real mic now. We got to like episode 97, and I got
So-
like an actual
Frank's being
boom.
proactive, I guess, in upgrading the pod quality. But
proactive.
I do have a question for you, my friend.
Yeah, what's up?
November 2021 was when
Okay.
we started this podcast. So nearly 2 years ago. What has changed
What?
between our first episodes and now?
You mean besides like a modest increase in tech? Golly, I mean, I'm probably about 7 to 10 lbs heavier, few more gray hairs. The automotive lineup, a lot of it is turned over a couple of times. I have a day job now. I've driven a bunch more things, even stuff that I didn't purchase. I've gone on rallies. What else? No new tattoos.
Oh,
No new STDs.
same old.
Boy, I don't know. I've got this little Honda bike behind me. How about you? Do you what? Same shit.
Kind of same shit, dude. Honestly, like
Different
I
mouth?
feel it's same same different. What is that thing? God, dude, when someone farts, you're like same breath, different voice.
Sure. Yeah, that could be another low note from the toothless bugler.
Oh, someone talking shit behind my back.
That's right.
But no, not like honestly, the format of the podcast has remained. It's changed a little bit. Obviously, we're not in person as much. I'm really sad about that. I know it's same as you. We both have to earn coin and do other things. So it's been really hard to reconnect. So we do late night podcasting now.
Late night confidential.
Yeah, I hope we can make more efforts to have like together podcasts because those are nice. But
What do you think? Maybe number 101. Get the band back together.
Perhaps is the writing's on the wall. I think it is. But no, we have had some pretty awesome automotive adventures, and I want to talk about some of the stuff we've obviously done at the pod because I think we have grown. The pod started off, just talking about pointless automotive shit, and we're still talking about pointless automotive shit. But I think we've kind of developed our branding a little more, and I think that's
a little bit.
It's because we
just
had
organically, right?
we-
Like it's not like we put any actual forethought or energy into this outside of like, hey, this quiz game thing would be kind of cool, and hey, we
Right.
should make a pun on like exotic drug abuse. Beyond that, like it's kind of been, quick last minute. Like a few hours before the podcast, like, oh
Oop.
man, do you have any ideas on what we should talk about? I don't know, maybe this. All right, fine. I got nothing better.
Damn,
The
Frank,
occasional guest.
letting
Am I opening the kimono too much?
you're letting the listeners behind the curtain for sure. Yeah,
man.
the roast beef curtain.
That's right.
But the truth is, like, we our branding was who we are anyway, and we kind of just, through like reinforcement episode over episode, we try to like shine that through. I think we've explored some pretty cool topics. I think I've had a lot of fun talking about topics we don't usually, like a minivan episode. That was a super fun thing to do, and we kind of explored some different stuff. And I like the idea that we're pointless, but we're not, because we do usually have freaking topics, which is super fun.
Sure.
We'll pick a crazy thing. I mean, tangents, of course, going off in left field
Tangent
often.
heavy.
Yeah,
I'm pro tangent.
you are.
If y'all haven't picked that up yet,
the master general tangenteer over here. But the
Right.
thing is, it's cool because we do bring these crazy topics that are usually pointless to most people, but it's kind of neat that we deep dive them, for such long times and like really explore them. And I think that's kind of something cool we do, because we're pointless but not. The topic might be pointless, but we do stick to a point. I think that's one of my favorite things we do, and we're not just like talking. There's so much air filling podcasts out there where they just kind of jibber jabber about something or topical subjects, and we're not really like that. We're kind of like all over the map, which is fun, and I think that's like us in real life.
Should we one day? I feel like, what's funny is I feel like we won the one time, one or two times we've done something topical.
Yes,
I think the numbers have actually borne out that that's what we should do.
We're so
Like,
counter sellout, dude.
I know, right? Yeah, man. I like those guys before they were not cool.
Yeah,
but like, yeah, we're first off, we are counterculture icons. Secondly, because I remember we did when we talked about the new Z, when the new Z came out, and we talked about really all things Z, but we talked about the new Z, and then same with the Lightning. When the new Ford Lightning came out, we talked about hey, the new Ford Lightning, and what about the old Ford Lightnings? And I want to say, like, I know one of those two, for whatever reason, like, just got swallowed up by the YouTube algorithm.
That was the GR Corolla episode, actually.
The Corolla, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I missed that one. A different topical one where we talked about the Corolla. And I think on the audio download side, it bears that out too. So maybe next week we'll talk about something hyper topical. Probably not. Probably anti-topical, because that's what we do.
Unlike most of my ointments. But what have we?
Yeah, they're all internal use only.
Look, I'm going to ask you, Frank. Like, I'm going to get inside your brain for this one. What have you done personally to remain unsuccessful and not become famous on this podcast? What has been your?
It's been a lot of work, let me tell you.
Yeah. Walk me through it.
Some heavy lifting. Boy, I don't know. I mean, we do have like an extraordinarily modest listener base. Where was I? I don't remember where I was. I was somewhere, some car event, pseudo recently, and maybe it was Radwood, and someone was like, "Hey, man, I like your podcast," and I'm just like, "I don't know who you are, and this is weird." And it wasn't weird like that. Like, it was weird from my perspective. They were being totally normal and honest, and I appreciated it.
Right.
But for me, just like me having this internal recognition of like, there's a human that listens to a podcast, and it's my podcast, and like it's weird to be on this side of the mic, and then someone is on the other side of the listening device, their Bluetooth enabled milking table or whatever it is that they're listening to us on. And having like modest recognition for that. I mean, like our podcast in general, like each episode, at least on the audio side, struggles to catch 100 downloads. Which is fine. Like, that is what it is. I'm not saying, I mean, in a lot of ways, it's like, I don't know, when do I ever stand up and talk in front of 100 people?
Right.
It doesn't happen. So like, it's kind of fucking magical, really. Even though in like the world of podcasts, like, you extrapolate that out, we do an episode a week where we're talking maybe 500 listens a month. In the grand world of podcasts, I don't think that's a lot.
The greatest flood starts with a single drop of rain.
Squirt. Yeah. And that is kind of it. How about you? I feel like I don't know, like half the time I'll go places, people are like, "Hey man, what's Chadwick up to?" It's like the other half, if you will.
Yeah, I think what we've done is we've remained irrelevant and pointless, true to our name. I think that's
right.
helped us. And then we've dwelled primarily in automotive obscura, which is cool because the people we do find we really connect with, right? Like the folks that are into the stupid cars we're into, or the anti trends, or like whatever we cover. I think we have people that share our same automotive mantra, and I think that's kind of cool. I think that's kind of like the backbone of this podcast is what we try to do, and we are reaching out to people, and maybe it's a smaller group, or maybe we just haven't had the opportunity to get in the ears of other folks that would enjoy this kind of stuff, right?
I mean, we've put dozens of minutes into our promotional campaigns and in our Instagram feed and on and on. And realistically, it's almost purely word of mouth, which blows my mind, because it's like we have like a couple consistent listeners like in other countries across large bodies of water. And so, that's the power of y'all's like talking to each other, and or using really exact VPNs. But I don't know. It's interesting, and I don't want to like sit here and be like it's a privilege and get all kind of soapy, but like I don't know. It's kind of cool that like we found a way to get triple digits of these in, and what's even more crazy, how have we not missed a week yet?
Yeah, we've been really good about our schedule, and we're pretty busy, especially now. We're more busy than when we started this venture. It is pretty amazing how we've done it through like vacation.
All the human trafficking has been like sucking up so much of my time.
Wait, are you trafficking or being trafficked?
No, I'm trafficking.
Oh,
yeah, it's a circle of abuse. I mean, I was trafficked for many years in my past, and so now I'm just yeah, that's all I know what to do at this point.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago I told you I was in Hawaii, but I was actually in one of those cargo containers, being trafficked out. So
you are the captain now. Yeah.
Look at me.
Exactly. Joking about the suffering, like the suffering and bleakness of the impoverished on a grand scale. That aside, no, it's.
Have you seen my car fleet?
Yeah, right.
It's a lot of suffering.
Yeah, I feel like there's some good punny like car guy Star Trek mashup stuff to be had there, and like car fleet, and you just like make weird Star Trek puns. We'll cut this out of the pod. Did
you write that down your notes?
No, what are notes?
Truth.
But like, I don't know. It is interesting. I mean, I wish I had like a list of cars that we have come and gone between your fleet and my fleet.
That was
in the car fleet.
So I wanted to generally talk about that, because as we started this podcast off in an interesting way. We went through our personal car histories, which was kind of fun. Like Frank was the first episode 1, the origin story of this podcast. Frank went through all the cars he's ever owned. And I did the same in episode 2. So I thought that was a good way to show you guys that we're not just talking the talk, we're walking the walk, and it's a painful walk that usually doesn't run and requires a lot of maintenance. But I wanted to get that out there. I think that really set a precedence. And since then, I was going to ask you, like, how much do you think you've added to your list? Not just like what you've added and sold, but how many new cars have you really come upon since November of 2021, Frank?
November of 2021, the white car behind me, I don't think I had yet. I either hadn't had it yet, or I just got it like in October of that year. I think that might have been it. I think I just had picked it up. The green 924 I didn't have. The 84 Celica Supra I didn't have. The Galant I didn't have.
Is that true?
You might have had it, but I didn't have it.
Oh, you might be right.
Oh God, I had a BMW 330i sedan that I owned for like genuinely 2 days. Like I bought and sold it between episodes of the pod. The Suburban I didn't have.
That's right.
The
Sandbar.
Lexus I didn't have.
No, you had the Sandbar.
I had the Sandbar.
You hadn't done everything with it.
I hadn't done anything and everything with it. I know I'm missing several vehicles. I had this. I didn't have the Civic Hybrid. I did not have the Civic Hybrid, um, which has come and gone. I don't know. How about you? Is there anything? I know there's some stuff that's gone.
Dude, it's
the Trooper.
confusing. Yeah, the Trooper's definitely new. It's confusing. I think I was at like 40 something when I did the first podcast about the car list, and now I'm up to 57 apparently. So I've
okay.
added like 12 to 15 cars. I know the Mini Cooper S was one of them. The Isuzu Trooper, definitely one of them. Volvo C30 T5, our design was one of them. I think the S10 Blazer and ZR1 I hadn't purchased yet.
For sure.
Forester XT, one of the first gen, the XT. Good Lord, so many. Tracer LTS.
Yep.
Wasn't there yet. I think I had my Daytona Shelby Z, or just got it. There was a couple Miatas.
No, I think you bought it. I think we were doing the pod when you bought that, because I think
Really? Okay.
I remember us talking about you picking it up and just going to scoop it super as quickly as humanly possible from the guy.
That is true. And the 300ZX twin turbo, I don't think I had that yet. So there's a few, like
Bonneville.
A good Bonneville. So I have like 15 or so cars that I've purchased. I've been adding to the list. And at one time I had the highest count, 15 cars. I owned 15 cars under my name at the same time during the podcast, the reign of this podcast. And now I'm at 8 and I feel butt naked, dude. I feel so weird. Like I only have like a few more project cars left, right? So it's like,
boy,
weird, dude.
What are you gonna do? We're gonna have to do like the YouTuber thing where we get like sponsored, but we don't tell anyone, by like Copart or something, and we drag home some wounded animal from Copart, like a I don't know, an Audi R8 with a bent frame or something like that, or a flood Aston Martin or something.
Right, exactly. Yeah, something totally weird. But yeah, I'm pretty down low here.
Eagle Summit, or your Mitsubishi Expo.
That's right. Yeah, the Eagle Summit. Got that too. I forget. Sometimes I forget that I had, like, the other day when I opened up my overflow garage and I saw like the Galant, the Neon, and the NX. And I was like, God damn it, I still have too many cars.
I think you had the Neon. You had the Neon, I think, right?
I don't know on that one. No, I don't think. That's an iffy one. That one's right there.
Yeah.
That's right there. Yeah.
Right there on the edge.
That and the Nissan were both sight unseen purchases from other states. So.
That's what one does. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's interesting in a good way, right? Like,
yeah,
how far we've come, and like,
I mean, I'm super happy like that. I'm selling the fleet. That's kind of new for me. Like, I'm usually it's easier to purchase cars. We all know this. It's hard to fix them up and actually sell them.
Yes.
Maybe we're growing. That's part of the podcast message. We are growing.
Except we're not, though, because you and I both know damn well what will happen when we get, like, if you and I were to get under 5 cars.
Oh, I don't think I can operate like that.
Well, what I'm saying is, the moment that happens, you're just like, you're the kid in the candy store with a big old bag of money, and you're just like walking around like, what can I get? Ooh, this one's got a dented box. I can get this one at a discount. That's gonna be it. We've had some good guests. We've had some good guests on.
Had some awesome guests, yeah, for sure.
I would like to have more. Whether it was like, get some of the band back together, get some of the old guests back on the pod, and or just new guests. We're always going to have some new guests. We probably haven't had as many guests as we should have had at this point. We're being honest, but I like to get more because it's just fun. Some fresh faces, have some terrible conversations with some excellent people. I think it's fun. Do you have a dream guest?
Oh boy, I don't know. Imagine having like a Jeremy Clarkson or someone on our podcast. I think that'd be super fun, because, like, honestly, I do like his early.
Terrifying, but it'd be fun.
It would be good though, and I like his early journalistic stuff. Some of the stuff he said was just so off the wall and hilarious. Like you go back and you watch like early Top Gear
Mhm.
before it really settled into its stride, and just off the wall bonkers shit. And like I know he's like a bigger than life personality now, but I really get a kick out of his early stuff before before he had like a name to back it up. No one recognized him back then. He's just saying like amazing stuff, and I think that kind of stuff made him stand out. I think he'd be super fun, and I think he'd be pretty fun to like fuck around with. I think he'd be down for the humor.
You know who I want? I want Nesbitt. I want Brian Nesbitt, the chief designer of the PT Cruiser and the Chevy HHR. That's who I want. Beyond the God King Nesbitt. You know who would be great as a guest on the pod, and I looked it up between last episode and now.
Oh no.
Is I had it. Where does his name go? John Motormouth Machida Jr., aka
Micro Machines guy.
The Micro Machine guy.
Yes.
Like how sick he's alive. He's 69. He lives in New York.
Oh, that's a good age.
We should get him. Nice. We should get him on the pod.
I think he should do our intro, bro. Like welcome back to another place.
He should do. He
should do super fast.
Ooh. You know what? I feel like that's a guy that has to be on Cameo, right? You know what Cameo is, right?
Yeah, get him to say that, get him to do our intro. That'd be hilarious.
Oh man, I'm not going to look it up right now. That's not good radio, but yes, he would be a good guest. If I play my cards right, I could probably get Doug on here, but maybe that'll wait till episode 200. I don't know. 200. Yeah, exactly. Episode 420. But like, I don't know. We can have lots of. I think some of the best guests would be like would genuinely be somebody like Brian Nesbitt, right? Like whoever was the chief designer on the Pontiac Aztec, or some of these cars that like nobody really knows the story on,
right?
But like, I think it would be super fascinating to talk to a designer like that, or somebody who was just like, why did you do this? what like, and they're like, oh, well, we focus grouped and we have this thing and we talked about it. We originally wanted to do this, but the bean counters made us do that. And like, we wanted them all to come with the tent and it just pops out, but we had to make it as a kit. And it's like, I think it would be really interesting to kind of peel back layers of the onion on a car that people hate so much that they love it, kind of thing.
That's the problem. We have him as a guest, right? And then you and me oddly feel compelled to purchase these vehicles. What do you get?
I'm okay with that.
Do you get the SSR or do you get the PT Cruiser? I know one's more pricier than the other, that's for sure.
I think I would want the HHR SS.
Okay.
The 260 horsepower version of that. Although I think I would love the challenge of making a cool PT.
Yeah.
Like, can you get a PT Cruiser convertible manual and then put a hardtop on it? So it's like a coupe.
I wonder if anyone. I'm sure someone designed something. It's probably like a one-off. I'd go PT Cruiser GT Turbo, purple, Woody. Can you get a manual with those 2.4 turbos?
All I know is if you get a purple Woody, and especially if it's been at least 4 hours, you're supposed to consult a physician. But
let's just say that I put a lot of emphasis on the choking part of the chicken.
Sure, exactly. That's problematic.
Is it? Because it's the only way it works anymore. But
I think there's an actual like scientific term for that, where like you can't get your purple Woody PT Cruiser across the finish line, if you will.
Are we going to talk about like, David Carradine again? Is that what?
Like, literally destroying it? No, he destroyed him. Although apparently, I want to say like there's like David Carradine truthers out there that are like, no, he was murdered, and they like cite all this evidence that like because it was in like Malaysia or something. Anyways, maybe we should have like the widow of David Carradine on the pod as a guest one day.
It's horrible information.
Tell me, can you describe his last moments? Just make it just like the worst piece of audio poison ever.
Was it a happy whimper or a sad whimper?
Oh man, just whatever.
Jesus, off the rails.
I can go farther down that road on video content that I've seen in the world that I wish I didn't. But and it was a whimper.
Back on track. Any plans for the podcast in our next 100 episodes? Anything you want to you want to help fulfill happen, you're hoping happens, or something we can probably work on? What would you like to see us do in the next 100 episodes?
One episode that was fun was our field trip out to Carnegie,
Yes.
which was the overlanding park. That was, I don't know, episode 40 something. I don't remember. Go back and check it out. Actually, that's one to watch the video component on for certain.
Super pretty backdrop. Yeah.
And so not necessarily that exact thing, but something similar, something like live and on location, or whatever. Maybe one on a driving rally, or the after party, or one at an event, whether it's like sponsored to be there and like, hey, we're going to be at this event and we're going to be part of the event and come by our booth, or like guerrilla radio it and just like do it from the parking lot of do it in front of just like the No-Tell Motel during Car Week or something like that, and put a card table up and people are like, who the hell are you? And like people trying to fight us, and people revving their like their catless R8s next to us and just silly stuff.
We should totally set up a booth unprovoked and just fucking hand out business cards and get people to listen. That's not a bad idea.
Do like at a sideshow, like have it be like straight up dangerous.
In the side, like we take the booth, run out, sprint out in the middle of the
Golden Gate Bridge
burnout
or something, when people have got to like unlock and they're just like, yeah, that would be good. Stuff like that, stuff where we're a little bit more engaged with other people for better or for worse. Thankfully it won't be live, so we can edit stuff out if people get out over their skis on what they're talking about, which based on our standards, straight off the David Carradine convo, it would be pretty tough to get out, really get out of pocket. But
sure.
Yeah, I think that would be, I think that would be fun. And the aforementioned, like some interesting guests would be dope. Get Nesbitt on here. How about you, man?
Yeah, I put the same thing, man. Specifically, like reporting from the field.
Specifically, Brian Nesbitt.
Specifically, PT Cruiser Talk. But the Carnegie State Off-Road Park was a huge one. The Coastal Range Rally from the inside of the Galant VR4. So more on like location. Like I think that's a lot of fun. It's a logistical challenge, but it's like super cool when it works out. Like I went back and because I'm actually trying to find out what quizzes we've given each other, because we're definitely tripping on our own dongs here. But I'm going back and rewatching it, and dude, that Carnegie State with just the camera roll, if you're watching the YouTube version, just having the beautiful mountains in the background, your Sienna,
no one else around.
My 100 Series Land Cruiser. It was just a fucking cool backdrop to do a podcast talking about off-roading. So that was a blast, dude.
And that was another
fun day too.
And you know what? That was another one we talked about when we talked about our like budget four-wheeler episode. That we're like, hey, we should just like, we should each toss like $1,500 in a ring and just go in together on like a cheap, beat it up off-roader. And we still haven't done that, find ourselves a Kia Rio or whatever we would want to off-road.
This Trooper was a pretty good one, for two. Yeah,
the Gambler, I think we can do, if we did like a Gambler two-parter. It would be madness, but I think it would be cool. So there's a lot. We barely scratched the surface, for better or for worse, but there's a lot. There's still a lot to be had and a lot to be done. I don't know. Do you have any regrets?
I don't know, man. I think
100 of them.
No, everything's pretty cool. Like I think we've hit some pretty cool like topics, honestly. And I think some of the ones that we thought were going to be a little too like mainstream or not like edgy enough ended up being pretty cool, like VTEC. Like we had an episode talking just about VTEC, and you and I both nerded out pretty hard on that one. And it was kind of cool because you wade into those ones and you're like, fuck, this is a pretty like, I don't know, that's not really our wading pool, but we cannonballed into it and it ended up being pretty cool. So I kind of like when that happens.
Shoot, I feel like we have to at least save and or resurrect one more manufacturer, right?
Dude,
that's like resurrecting Pontiac.
That's a blast. I like our what are the other games we play? We play a couple other ones like this automotive Would You Rather. I think gets pretty fucking upside down quick. Exactly. And those are a blast. Yeah, saving manufacturers, I think that's pretty fun. I'm sure we can come up with quite a few. I think we did
But I think some of those,
last
would actually, we should revisit some of those, but with guests. Like if we did an automotive would you rather, especially with a little spicier offerings, and just walk through it with a guest that's willing to play ball.
That's
Um,
brutal.
that could be fun. You know, I don't know if we'll, I don't know if we'll like go like impoverished child leather interior with a guest, as some previous episodes have gone down that road. But like, I don't know, we find some good questions and some good topics in our games to the guests. What other game do you have any other games? I mean, I'm pretty happy with our game. I don't know how we haven't. I know you're cataloging this now, but like I don't think we've had any like where we've like completely redone
The
the
same
same
ad
exact ad. I know we've probably stepped over a couple of different cars that were the same, if not the same.
of
but
all the
different
cars,
ads.
Ford Probe has been on there like 4 fucking times. Like,
Hey,
makes
hey,
sense.
it's a crowd pleaser. The
Mm.
probe, the probe is a crowd pleaser, but
Getting
like,
probed, yeah.
yeah, it's all I know how to do.
No,
But
the print ad quiz is huge. Is a huge fun thing to do. I think that's fun to do every week. It kind of, we have our topic, and then we kind of get into some print ad quiz funnery, and we're digging up. We're kind of dredging now at this point, but it's kind of cool. And then
yeah, I mean, there's lots that we haven't done though.
There's
especially
there's
the truly mundane like 80s malaise domestic sedan stuff, like the Pontiac Parisian, and like yeah.
The PCP is another one of my favorite ones, Project Car Progress, because we tend to be working on something in the background no matter what. So it's always fun to, like, if folks are following along for how we upkeep our fleets, it's kind of cool. They hear the trials and tribulations in our garages, because
drama.
There's always something, right? Whether it's like you have a Lexus and you can't find a key for it to save your life, or your 924 turbo that's an ever evolving doesn't change project.
No, just the forever thorn in my side, which I suppose is what I signed up for. But it's stuff like that makes me want to sell that car and then just like spend 20% more and get a nice one. But
yeah, and it's how it's like,
it's what we preach.
It's acceptable that I dump 50 hours into a $1,500 car, but hey, we all got our things going on, right?
Yeah, we all have our crosses to bear. Yeah, and I like thinking more about like where I want to see the pod go. I don't know. I still want to. I still want like our only. I still want like our. I still want our pod to get sponsored by something like truly stupid. God. Like Ling Long tires, or I don't even know, like some Enzyte, like I don't know, something straight up silly, where like it's like, not that we're mocking our sponsor, because that's not a good way to keep a sponsor, but like sure. we'll let the listeners mock us.
Something befitting of us would be appropriate, I think.
Yeah, like a I don't know, a pickle company, and they just mail us like 70 like pallets of pickles. Something where it's just like, it's super awkward, and then you just look in the background and it just, my garage is all pickles. I don't know.
Uncle Dave's semen stain remover or something like that.
Exactly. And let me tell you, I would not be half the man I am today if it weren't for Uncle Dave's semen stain remover.
Let me tell you, brother.
See this shirt I'm wearing? See all these awkward stains? Watch this. And just, real time it.
Cynthia, get the black light. No stains.
These stains have been here for 13 minutes, but the podcast started 26 minutes ago. Shut up. Yeah, it's yeah, we need to do that. Uncle, would you say Uncle Stevens? I don't know. Uncle Stevens.
Dave? Yeah, Uncle Dave. He's another story.
It would definitely be an uncle.
So exactly. The fun uncle.
Your secret is safe with Uncle Dave.
Oh God, dude.
No, it's not. Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, well, we should just make that. I don't think that's a product. I don't think that's a product, but we should absolutely make it a product.
Ren and
make
Stimpy
it specifically. So exactly, it'll be log like, and it'll
powdered toast.
Powdered toast, man.
We have gone off the rails again.
That's why, you know what? Episode 100, there are no rails. Okay.
Yeah, very little notes. I don't know if you could.
What notes?
But yeah, dude, that's. I mean, It takes a lot. It takes a lot to do that. Like there is a lot that goes into this. Like honestly, we have to carve out the time. We have to edit, edit a video,
Mhm.
and it's pretty cool. We've been doing it for this long. Like I said, almost 2 years. So
Almost 2 years, 100 episodes. Um, knock on wood. We've gotten very close to deleting and or not recording episodes.
Jesus,
But we've
dude.
never actually like lost one to time. We've had one where like, oops, the audio didn't record, but the video did, and so we have video with not good audio, and then vice versa. But somehow we've managed to not like completely wipe an episode off the grid, which is also considering this like nest of wires I've got over here that you can't see on camera, and the Rube Goldberg machine that goes on behind the scenes, relatively miraculous, if I
Yeah.
do say so myself.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, we do deliver every week, so I think that's a big part of it. We try to be consistent with our uploads and whatever content we can vomit out and get it out to you guys. We try to do that.
And
regular
remember,
basis.
ladies and gentlemen, every weekly upload is sponsored by Uncle Dave's semen stain removal. Okay.
Mhm.
It's available in 16 ounce and 128 ounce spray bottles, for your convenience.
It doesn't remove any other stain. Just
No, it actually creates, in the absence of semen, it creates stains. That's how you know it's good.
yeah,
Yes,
Lord. I don't
that's
know.
a good name for a punk band debut album, by the way. Just the absence of semen.
Only works on semen stains.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Dave.
But yeah, I'm super happy with how this has been. It's been super fun, if nothing else. Obviously we're not sponsored or anything like that, so we can go off the rails as we see fit, and that's a lot of fun. But dude, I think this is fun. Even if we recorded this and put it on an SD card and buried it in my butt cheeks, I'd still enjoy like doing the podcast, man, because it's been a blast.
And that was the genesis of all this, right? Was just like you and I would end up talking for too long about nonsensical automotive stuff when I was trying to push you on a car to purchase that I was taking pictures of, or was trying to move for my car donation guys, or trying to find a home for. And I was your pusher, and I still am to a certain extent. I almost, boy, did I get close to hooking you into a Saab, an 01 Saab 9.3
What happened
turbo
with
5
that,
speed.
dude? Did you get
It
rid
turns
of it?
No, it turns out. So I went there. I texted. For those who are not
God.
keeping score or keeping score at home, my car
heart's
donation client of mine, they got in an 01 Saab 9.3 sedan with the hatch, silver tan interior, pretty clean, had like 110,000 miles, ran great, passed smog, 5-speed manual. And I was like, hey, what's the deal on this? He's like, I don't know. I'm out of town. I know we just got it in. It's supposed to be a good car. They were asking $2,800. And I'm like, I want it. That's it. And so then I went a couple of days later and I texted to Chadwick. I was like, dude, what do we think about, what's your thought on this? He's like, I want it.
Yep.
Okay. I was like, I bet we can get it. Like they're asking 28. I bet we can get it for close to 2, probably 2,500 at the lowest, right? Which at that price, it's a great car, right? Cool. So I went there a couple days later and it was gone. He's like, oh, it turns out he's like, my guy already sold it. So I don't know what it sold for. I bet you he sold it for like $1,800 or something dumb.
God damn it, man.
I know.
Usually it's the other way around. Like Frank baits me with a really nice car, and then he's like, oh, never mind, timing belt snapped, or never mind,
never mind, it's deeply
never mind
flawed.
Yeah, never mind, it's salvage title.
It's fine, it's just been sitting for 17 years. They do have, if you want to just get back in the Benz world, they do have I think it's an 88 560 SEL with a salvage title.
Oh,
runs great. It's got like 240,000 miles. White and gray two-tone with a gray leather interior.
Oh,
cheap baby, cheap.
Yeah,
for you cheap.
How those maintenance costs? Cheap or
salvage title? You don't maintain it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, those lights are decorative. The check engine one, you just put little electric tape, you're good.
Yeah, we do need, and I talked about it with the oh, you know what's another one? Just me thinking out loud and just stream of consciousing this entire episode. We talked about doing a track day. We haven't done a track.
Yes,
we got to do it. I've got a helmet back there somewhere behind me. I
haven't been on track since like 2019, and that wasn't.
I've never been on track.
Oh,
I know.
Pop your track,
we got to get to.
What do you take it?
Thunderhill or something. Honestly,
S2K?
probably S2000. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's the only thing that would kind of hold up right now at the moment.
Good place to start.
Yeah, and so it would be good. It's pretty safe, pretty reliable. I think that would be the way to do it. I'd still like to do a gambler build.
Okay.
So yeah, we need to do those sometime between episode 100 and 200.
Oh,
we need to get that stuff done.
Yeah, we gotta take our asses to a track. That's for sure. It's been a while.
Right.
It's been a while.
Track asses. Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been.
You know what? That's another one. We need to do a music episode. Not like a musical where we sing, not like that. But
God,
like,
that's atrocious.
where we talk about songs that remind us of car things. We talk about what we've done in our youths, mostly as far as like, did you put any subs in your car? Did you put the
aftermarket
the head unit with the swimming dolphins on it, or
of course.
Did you zip tie 6x9s in place because the factory speakers were a weird size and you didn't have the proper way to make it fit, so you just ghetto rig it together?
Aftermarket CD player that gets hot to the touch and you have to cool it down every once in a while.
Yep. Did you ever own a mini disc player in your car? Stuff like that.
Yeah, good stuff.
That would be good. A music episode. Get your motor running.
Good Lord.
Right out on the highway.
But yeah.
There's lots of options.
I don't think it is our 100th quiz game show because we've missed a couple episodes. I think from the field we never did the quiz game, so we're getting up there. But it was fun reminiscing.
Are you ready? Is that a cue? Would you like me to get our not quite 100th quiz?
Is it going to be a spicy one? Is that what I'm looking forward to right now?
I don't know. I think it's gettable.
Okay.
It's an interesting ad for an interesting person.
As Frank cues up our automotive print ad quiz game show, this is a running trend since the very first episode. Fun fact, guys, episodes 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Would you believe it that Frank and Chadwick both failed the automotive print ad quiz game? They're each of their first attempts to play the damn game they made up. We failed. We didn't get it in 3 guesses. I think we've gotten better. We're pretty good at this. Sometimes I think we miss obvious stuff and get the obscure stuff, which is hilarious. But this is our automotive print ad quiz game show we've been running since the genesis of our fine podcast. So Frank is going to read through an automotive print ad from a magazine of the period, usually from the 80s, 90s, early to mid 2000s. He's going to omit anything that gives it away. I have 3 guesses to figure out what the hell he's talking about. Whenever I fail and miss a guess, he's going to give me a little help, kind of hold my hand and walk me peacefully to the correct answer. And sometimes he touches my butt doing that, but I talked to my counselor about that, not you guys. But so I'm ready, Frank. Oh, I have 10 minutes, by the way. We put that time limit on there because I think we had some that stretched to like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So let's do it, man. Do your worst.
Your worst. Do my worst. Okay, Chadwick, here we are. So this is a 2-pager. Okay. On one page. So on the right side, it's pure text on one whole page. On the other whole page, it shows our car in our typical front quarter shot angle. And it's at like a sunset, and it's on a cobblestone beach, it looks like. A lot of almost like river rock heavy. And it says, and underneath it says, the first blank designed to accelerate your pulse rate. Now bear with me. There's a lot of the name of the vehicle and the make and other vehicles this manufacturer makes. In this ad, there's going to be a lot of blanks in here.
Designed to accelerate your pulse rate?
Designed, it says, the first blank designed to accelerate your pulse rate.
That's kind of like, isn't pulse always a rate?
Potential. Well, depends on how dead you are or aren't, I suppose.
We're off to a good start. But yeah, just go slow, man. Don't do the spoiler
Don't.
thing that
I'll
I've done
try
in the
not to
past.
let this ad accelerate my pulse rate.
Hmm.
Blank humbly introduces a car that will knock your socks off. The Blank. I know, right? They're like really getting into like not cliched language instantly. A car whose combination of styling, technology, and interior features is not only new, but unique among today's cars. Starting from the ground up, we took the best inherent qualities associated with Blank and combined them with our latest, most advanced technologies. And they include everything from a self adjusting air suspension system, most commonly found on jets. What? To front wheel drive with 5-speed turbo. The rest is a car that lets you control roads, hug curves, and plow through snow, all while surrounding you in the most luxurious creatured comforts. From the outside, the most innovative aspects of the Blank is its styling. And yet, the term styling is one that hardly does justice to this exterior. The Blank is one of the most aerodynamic production cars in the world. Its astoundingly low drag coefficient is achieved with a low slanting hood, concealed headlamps, flush roof pillars and door handles, and smooth flowing roofline, to mention just the most obvious contributors. The only car of its kind with an on-demand four-wheel drive system. No other sporty car offers you the choice of the following technologies: front-wheel drive turbo, and turbo traction. Apparently that's trademark. In plain English, our quote on demand four-wheel drive transmission lets you switch from front-wheel drive to four-wheel drive instantly and without stopping. Turbo traction combines Blank's proven on-demand four-wheel drive system with the power of a 1.8-liter fuel-injected, water-cooled turbo. And when the talk shifts to engines, the Blank really takes off. Because it's the most powerful, most performance-oriented car Blank has ever engineered. And that's not enough. I'm only halfway through the text, by the way.
Jeez, dude.
And that's not enough. You can combine any Blank engine with either a 5-speed manual or 3-speed automatic transmission.
Oof.
To call the Blank unique in a class would be, I don't know. To call the Blank unique in its class would be inaccurate. It creates an entirely new class of its own. The interior is as advanced as the exterior. From the all-new adjustable sport seats with high bolsters to lateral support, to the soft grip telescopic steering wheel with moving instrument panel. This interior has been designed to make you feel a world away from the outside world. Its fingertip close instrument pods put vital controls within easy reach, and a unique video monitor easily provides important engine information at a single glance. But they're only part of the state-of-the-art display of information for which the word dashboard is barely adequate. In fact, once you'll notice that the Blank bears no resemblance to any previous Blank, or for that matter, any other car. An untraditional car born of traditional values. The Blank is available in 4 versions: the Blank, and the extra luxurious front-wheel drive Blank, and Blank. Well, I can say that a lot part. And Blank four-wheel drive turbo.
Oh.
All of them, however, have one important thing in common. They're all Blank, which means they're all shit. No, they're all Blank, which means which means that no matter how technologically advanced and luxurious, they're all true to the Blank tradition of building the world's most dependable cars at an affordable price. In fact, according to a recent survey by an independent research firm, Blank was ranked second only to Mercedes-Benz in customer satisfaction. Better than Toyota, Honda, Nissan, Mazda, BMW, or any car by GM, Ford, or Chrysler.
Bullshit. Okay, sure, dude.
There's there's math to be done there. You can figure this out.
Yeah.
What's more, many blank dealers also offer added security. The only extended service contract backed directly by blank. It's everything blank has been, and everything it's never been. Sir, that's a lot of words for you, my friend.
Yeah, and do you mind throwing 10 minutes on the clock, sir?
Yeah, we're counting.
Okay. Yeah, so no tech specs. I didn't pick up on any like engine displacement, horsepower.
There was no displacement.
Oh, what was the
1.8 turbo?
Okay, gotcha.
Or non-turbo, depending on how you.
Oh.
But it only said 1.8 turbo.
So that's what I was concerned with, because
Fuel injected water cooled turbo.
Okay, so the 1.8. So, but there's no horsepower. There was no. I know there's all the different trims, and then as soon as you said the push button, I thought the Camry All-Track came right to the front of my mind. Do you remember the old Camry All-Track where you could select between front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive?
Mm-hmm.
They definitely don't have an all-wheel or turbo option with that car.
So sick if they did, though.
Oh my dude, those would be worth so much money.
Yeah, all-track turbo drivetrain, selectable four-wheel drive.
Good Lord. And they threw like the ST165 power plant in there. But so, and I think that was a 1.8 on those early Camrys, correct? The Corolla or the Camry?
2 liter.
2 liter. So it did have
either the 2SE or the 3SFE.
Gotcha. But that was off the chart because it's not even on the table to be accepted because it wasn't turboed. And then that was where I went with first. And then I think I nailed it because there's a couple things. Well, first off, there's only a few cars that had selectable all-wheel drive to two-wheel drive push button with a turbo. And this is, if this is right, I got to make sure I get the right name. I think what we're talking about is a pretty cool designed car, like a super wedgy car. And these are super cool and super rare. And I always thought they looked like straight up fighter jet spaceships whenever I saw them, because back home, all-wheel drive was a big deal in the winter. I don't think I've ever in the flesh, like I think I saw the base ones and they look a lot different. But I think they're just called, I don't even think it has like a model name. It's just called the first guess, Subaru XT. Final answer.
The 1985 Subaru. Inexpensive and built to stay that way. So that was the tagline I didn't say the tagline because I actually knew that tagline because I thought it was fun. The 80s Subaru tagline. It is the Subaru XT Coupe.
Okay.
So coupe is actually like, I couldn't tell you it was a coupe because it's like capitalized. It's like, it's part of the name was the XT Coupe.
Right.
And so the trim levels were the DL, the GL, or the GL10 turbo or four-wheel drive turbo. There was, up until a couple of weeks ago, one sitting in my driveway that I've been babysitting. It's even weirder than you think. Like, they're bizarre.
The interiors were crazy too, right? Like, didn't it have like a grid pattern, like gauge cluster or some?
So the gauge cluster, and it mentions it in here. The term it uses is, it's fingertip close instrument pods, put vital controls within an easy reach. So when
on the side of the pod, right?
So the steering wheel, which is L-shaped and has one big thick.
It's so weird.
At the going straight up and down, like towards 6 o'clock. And
it's
then
like a 3 spoke where they cut off one of the spokes. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's little thumb nubbins where you would put your hands, and there's controls on the wheel, but it telescopes in and out and it adjusts up and down. And when you move all of that, there's like a pod that connects it. It's got your HVAC controls on the right. And then on the left, it has wiper controls and a button that just says height. And if you push that, the whole thing just airlifts like 2 inches of ground clearance. Just whoop, you hear the pump go, and it lifts up. And then when you do that, and when in the readout in the cluster, also the whole like gauge pod moves up and down with the steering column too as you adjust it. And it has on like the left side is the tach, and then the right side is like a boost gauge. And as you accelerate, they straddle like what looks like your car going down the road in like 3-dimensionally,
I
and it has
remember
a little like LCD like avatar of your car, and when you put it in 4-wheel drive, it lights the little car lights up 4-wheel drive, and when you push that height button, it lifts it. The little car in the thing goes boop and lifts up too. It's bananas.
in Japan that was called the Subaru Alcyon.
Alcyon, right?
Yeah, I remember that. That was
Yeah,
because I remember playing
it's-
it in video games a lot, like Gran Turismo. But
Yep.
I saw a few of the Subaru XTs, not the turbo one ever, but even the base ones. They just look so ridiculous because they're so wedgy, like it's over exaggerated wedginess.
Yeah,
Which
and
is
then later they
crazy
got
for
the
Subaru.
XT6,
Yes,
which was the 2.7 liter flat six, which I think was good for like 135 horsepower or 145 horsepower. It wasn't a ton, and I think automatic only. I don't think you can get those with a manual.
kind of like the SVX, same
Mhm.
deal. Yeah, SVX is weird looking too. I love the SVX though. God, I
Those
wish
are
they had
cool.
a manual. If they had a manual in that,
Well, there's lots of people that swap them. They manual,
True.
and I think they just get like WRX transmissions, and I think they make them work.
I think it's that, or they use out of the R's, where they had the 3-liter R's Imprezas or Legacy wagons back in the
Yeah.
day. I think
Mhm.
that's the one that swaps right over.
Yeah, you don't have to do like bell housing swaps or anything or adapters.
I think unfortunately the dash has like the PRD NDL. Unfortunately,
The Prendel.
Ugh.
It's just it's like a scar that reminds you where you came from. Your hard scrabbled roots. But yeah, super cool car. Drove and I don't know if it was just this particular car, because I'm pretty sure it was on its original struts, but it only had 62,000 miles. But they're air struts, and
Oh,
so
boy.
when it was sitting there just parked off, like you could just like jounce and rebound test, and it just like the whole thing.
Oh no.
It was like, oh dude, this is the softest suspension I've ever felt. But then driving it doesn't feel that bad until you push it in a corner, and then the whole just like it like chatters and jumps around like the struts are blown out. And I was like, oh man, like this thing is hurt. But then I kind of casually looked up like period tests of it.
Motor Week
And they're like-
has an awesome one where you can see it go around a corner or on their
Mhm.
test track, and it's like a ship.
Yeah. Well, like it just period tests are just like, this is the worst handling car in its class. Like it like around corners, the wheels chatter and it shakes. I'm like, oh, that's just how it was like in period time. Like, and they're like, if you want an actual sports coupe, go buy a Prelude. It's 100 times better, and you'll save like $3,000.
Yeah.
And so that's part of why they didn't sell. They were weird and they were expensive. But golly, it's cool.
What color was the one in your ad? Because they came in cool colors. Like there's like some blues.
The ad, you can't even really tell. It's like silver. I guess it's silver. It's like kind of a silhouette mode. It's just like a silver single tone. The one that I was babysitting, it's actually down in San Diego now. Doug is going to do a review video with it. But it's like a medium metallic blue over silver two-tone.
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah.
Which is cool. Yeah, and
I think there was
like
a red.
silver
There was like a
checkerboard
red and
interior.
silver one too, right? Red and silver two-tone.
Have
Like
you
a
seen?
maroon.
Have you seen? So Jason Camisa does a video. He does a video about like the history of the Subaru XT. Watch that video.
Icons video, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I watch all those. Probably
So
one of the best reviews.
this car
of
is
cars.
this car is the actual car from his video.
Oh, cool. Yeah, then
it's
I've
like
seen
that
it.
car.
Yeah.
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 Yep. So that's the car. It's that one. So it's gonna hang out with Doug. It's selling on Cars and Bids, and it's not gonna go for big money, like maybe 6, maybe 7, which is an enormous amount of cool for that money.
Yeah.
But
They're hard
yeah,
to
it's
find
interesting.
though. They used to be everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And then they just, because the problem with the all-wheel drive cars is they get used in places where there's snow and salt, and there they
they rot
go,
away.
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
but this one's cool, and it's like there's all the different plates that it had on it. It had to belong to a like a Navy corpsman or something like that, because it's wearing Arizona plates now, but there's Texas plates with it. There's New York plates and Guam plates. So this thing, so homie was just like cruising around and singing Guam.
Saw some territory. Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of globetrotted a bit. So it's a cool car. It'd be interesting. And I saw the ad and I was like, oh, okay, yes, it's wordy, but and not necessarily in a good way, but I don't know. It's a cool car. It warrants a spot.
Yeah, I was a little stumped at first. Honestly, the all track came right to mind, right? As soon as you said selectable all wheel drive, I'm like, it's got to be, because that was a pretty awesome car, and I
Yeah,
love
but
how
don't
those
forget I ruled out Mercedes Benz, Toyota, Honda, Nissan, Mazda, BMW, GM, or Ford or Chrysler. So I didn't leave a lot for you. You could have gone Saab or Volvo
Yeah.
and Seat. I don't know. That's about it.
Those things were cool though.
Dawes.
Good
Yeah.
grab, man. That's a good obscure car. When Subaru used to be really weird, now they're not weird, and they're worse for it, I think.
Yeah, I'd like to see them get a little weird. Let's get weird. Let's get weird. Speaking of getting weird,
Oh, let's do it.
is there any sort of drug that you'd like to straight up abuse?
I always wanted to do crack for like one night, just like fucking just go at it, because I don't have an addictive personality for the most part. I think I could have a one night crack bender and fully recover, my man. I just want to see what all the hype is about.
I saw a it was like somebody had a list of like punishments for the loser of a fantasy football team, and it was like all these different things about, do this, some of them lame stuff like wear a dress to work or something dumb. But one of them was just like smoke crack. I was like, that would be so good. Like, oh man, I lost my fantasy football league and I have to go score crack. Like, that would be like, for me, I mean, whatever. Like, I don't want to smoke crack, for the record.
Look at this.
But the most nerve wracking part for me would be like, how do I go find? Where am I going to get crack? Like,
sound like someone that's like pretending they don't know how to buy drugs. You're like, I don't even know where to purchase said drug.
like, I know enough people that if there were certain drugs that I wanted to get, like if I wanted to get mushrooms, I think I could figure that out within 48 hours.
You could fall on fentanyl if you had to, probably. But like, yeah, you're
probably,
right.
But like crack? Straight up crack, like actual crack.
I just picked it because it's funny and it's addictive.
It's funny because it's true.
You ever watch, like that Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode? The gang tries crack and they all get it. It's bad.
We should. Yeah, it's my younger brother like lives and dies by that show, and I've never seen a single episode cover. Dude, I've seen bits and pieces of some of the.
With the sense of humor that we share, it's definitely in your.
Yeah. I absolutely should watch it. I just don't. Right. Just like I absolutely should be smoking crack. I just don't.
Just one.
Similar. Yeah.
I just want to do it once to say I'm over it, and then keep doing it.
Or just to say like you beat crack.
I beat crack, man. Anyway, so PCP, I think, is what you were talking about. Project Car Progress,
car restorations, and car. What's the K stand for? Clan? No, that's not right. I don't know. Crack. Try today.
What have you been working on lately, Frank? What has been your project?
Like nothing.
Episode 1. So Frank reports nothing.
I'm reporting nothing. I've been so freaking busy. Like it's a mess. We are to further pull people behind the curtain. We are recording this just before we go off on the DWA rally. So this will air after we get back. So of the airing of this, I don't have anything I'm doing. On the other end of this, maybe I'm going to be making repairs. Maybe I'm going to be, I don't know, fishing a dead critter out of the front of the S2000.
Did you do the timing chain guides?
I've not done the tensioner. I have the parts to do the tensioner. I need to find time to do the tensioner, which by all accounts is like an hour and a half job.
Better just don't.
Oh no, it's gonna get. I'm not gonna risk it to get the biscuit. I'm just gonna get it done. I just need to find time that I don't have because I'm doing 100 freaking podcasts every 2 years. So yeah, that's gonna be it. Is hopefully that, and then also hopefully I need to be lighter a car or 2 or 3. So that'll hopefully be there. I have like a modest offer for someone to buy the Lexus for like 15. I don't know how serious they are on it. I might just do that, as much as I've been packing miles on that car and liking it. Someone wants to throw 15 grand at me after I cashed out 3 from insurance
Right.
after I bought it. I can do that. So TBD. How about you? You've been
I like
hopefully more productive than me.
your future forecasting PCP was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
As far as real PCP, I know last week I talked about the NX2000.
Real PCP.
Yeah,
Yes.
pulling all the Project Car Progress for that car has been removing all the old suspension, which was mostly original shit. 180,000 miles and 30 years later. Bushings tend not to be around anymore. There's not a lot of good suspension feel in the car, so I'm replacing everything. So far I put some coilovers in there. Rev 9, they're an affordable brand, but a lot of the guys swear by them for that chassis, so I'm putting coilovers. I haven't put coilovers on a car in like 15 years, so
if you put them on the car, will it then be able to rev to 9,000 RPM?
That's what it means. We'll find out. I don't know if it'll rev. I guarantee that car will rev to 9K
once.
Survive. Yeah, I don't know how long I can hold that rev, but I'm putting new control arms, outer tie rods, the usual shit that wears out. In the front, I'm keeping the sway bar. Like I said before, I want to keep that stock sway bar because the car has a natural tendency to understeer like most front wheel drive cars, but I'm upgrading the sway bar in the rear to a thicker white line unit with adjustable sway bar end links, and I'm putting a strut tower bar in. So a lot of really intensive suspension components, replacing old worn stuff, but also at the same time upgrading some components. So these things were great, made Car and Driver's top 10 handling cars when it came out. So I think just we're not like rewriting the script, we're kind of sharpening the knife, making it a little better. So pain in the ass, man, taking apart
crusty old suspension
that have never been separated over 30 years and that much mileage is a freaking pain in the ass. Like the outer tie rods were fused to the inners. Like it was really hard to spin them off. So I had the boots were also torn on the inner tie rods, so I replaced those, repacked them with grease and on the joint there. But just bringing an old car back to life kind of shit, dude. Mechanically, the car is going to be nice, and it's going to be fun. I know it's going to be a tight handler, so I'm excited to take that out and beat on it and drive it in the canyon. So that's what I've been up.
Yeah, brother.
I'm up to, yeah, man, doing that Nissan NX stuff. So that's it, man. But I think
cool. Hopefully, I'm hoping for 101. Maybe that's what I'm looking forward to in some of the next future episodes. Is in 101 I will actually smoke crack on the pod. we should what if that was it? What if somebody started a podcast where they just like episode 1, Frank does caffeine, and you just like have caffeine, and by the time you get to episode 100 you're like having like refined jankum, or like I don't know like what
first off, I'm not entirely sure that doesn't exist. It sounds like something someone would, where it escalates every episode. I'm not sure. I bet there's something like that. Someone's like experiencing different stuff, like,
there's probably at least 100 drugs, right?
Yeah, or variants thereof. Sure.
Yeah, I suppose. You're doing just industrial, like heroic doses of DMT by like episode number 70 or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Bath salts, episode 200.
Exactly. Whose face gets eaten first? Yeah, we both do bath salts and just fight in like your neighbor's backyard or something.
Episode 1, bath salts. Episode never makes it.
Episode 2, in memorandum. Yeah, like that's okay. So the good news is we've defined a new direction for the pod. Yes. Thank you guys for putting up for the good episodes, which are the first 100, and I use the term good loosely, but we're not smoking crack in the first 100. So thank you for participating. Thank you for continuing to participate. It's genuinely fun. Feel free to at us. We should probably do one day just a straight up all questions episode where we farm awesome. You guys for questions and topics, because of all the abusing of inhalants, we're not going to be quite as good at those in shortcoming as far as coming up with topics and things to talk about. So maybe we'll do a questions episode. We'll do some of that. You can follow us along on the YouTube, APA Podcast, another pointless automotive podcast, he tried to say, and also at APA Podcast on Instagram. I am Frank. I can be found at the Photographer's Garage on the things. How about you, sir? Where can people find you on the things?
For all your automotive rescues, restorations, and reviews from time to time. Haven't done one of those in a while, though. You can find me, Auto Obsessive Garage, on YouTube primarily, sometimes on the gram, posting horrible progress photos that are way too not becoming of what I should be fixing in the garage. But, you know, we do what we can. We do what we can.
You know what you should review? Prison quality crystal meth.
It's the only look. I find the other kind a little too blue for my blood.
That's true. Although that has to be out there, right? There has to be like, it's just like
This guy.
maybe it gets reviewed, right? Like gets removed, like this hardcore drug abuse channel on
Episode
YouTube.
100, Frank looks at pivoting into hard drug abuse.
and going from like not to be like I'm Mr. fucking perfect, but like go from like not doing drugs effectively at all to just straight up Mexican black tar heroin, like into my jugular, just
Never ends well when he's
full hit.
jump in like,
Yeah. Well, on that high note,
you know.
Thank y'all for this. Genuinely, it's been a ride. It will continue to be a ride. Thank you for partaking in it with us. You have any parting words there, Chadwick?
That's it. No, thanks for following along for 100 episodes or however many episodes you followed along. And I'd like to promise that things are getting better, but we both know that's probably a goddamn lie. So thank you anyway. We really do appreciate you guys tuning in, and look forward to the next 100.
That's it. Smoke them if you got them.
Especially if it's crack. Thanks, guys. As always, take care.
Hey.